Variety is the Spice of Life by Annette Pearce of Picton, 2571. Narrated by Janine Penfold. What was she thinking? Putting a flyer on the library notice board? She hoped to meet women like herself. Senior, a little bit vintage. As a relative newcomer to the area, there was little time to make friends. 6 months from unpacking the necessities and knickknacks of 48 years of marriage, her world imploded. Her husband collapsed on the 9th hole. Paramedics responded quickly, but a small memorial service was conducted 10 days later. The dream of grey nomading buried with her husband. Her only child, Angus, wanted her to move back to the city. The semi-detached next door was coming onto the market. Nancy wasn't so sure her daughter-in-law was keen. If there were grandchildren, maybe it would be different. But continuing the McDonough name was not their intention. No, she was staying. The little cottage briefly shared with Jock held happy memories. It hadn't been easy in the following months. She got through the daytime without too many tears, but nights were tougher. Watching old movies held little joy. She couldn't play backgammon by herself. Their nighttime ritual of chamomile tea in bed, gone. It was when feeling particularly low that Nancy reached out to a helpline. She chatted to a stranger, her grief spilling into the phone. She talked about things she liked to do, could do, by herself. What had happened to her younger self who loved to read? Truth be told, her husband did not like reading, and she had always chosen to do things that they both liked. A book club. She would join a book club. Get back into reading at night to fill in the dark and lonely hours. The smart white building welcomed her through its automatic glass doors. At reception, a young woman balanced uncomfortably on a stool, late pregnancy making it difficult to find her centre of gravity. Nancy asked about joining a book club. We have a modest selection of book club kits available, with funds allocated for expansion. Unconsciously rubbing her belly, she continued. Plans for an in-house group are postponed due to an imminent disruption in staffing. But I could help you start your own. That's how Nancy found herself in front of 6 strangers. With a deep breath, she began. Welcome, everyone, to the inaugural meeting of the Belford Book Club. I thought we might introduce ourselves. I am Nancy McDonough, 65. I wanted to join a book club, but found there was none. As my late husband would say, if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, walk down and strike a match yourself. She turned to the elderly lady on her left, frail, pale, and a little hunched. Will you go next? And we'll continue clockwise? Okay, dear. Hello, my name is Harriet Cooper. I'm 84 years young. I've lived in Belford all my life. I remember when this library was a little weatherboard hall. The land and building materials were donated by a wealthy family whose only son didn't come home from the war. The men from the RSL built it 1948, I think. No, 1949. Miss Jane Douglas was the first librarian. A rather intimidating spinster, but passionate about her job. Harriet's body may have showed its age, but clearly her memory was sharp. Wearing a stunning saffron-coloured cutter and crisp white capris, the next woman looked impeccable. Confidently, she introduced herself. My name is Ms. Avni Patel. The Ms. was emphasised. I was the publishing editor of a popular home magazine. I recently decided a tree change was needed and moved to Belford, working freelance. I was taught a woman never reveals her age, but I will admit to enjoying my fabulous 40s. Next to speak was a raven-haired woman with eyes the colour of coal. Hello, my name Sasha Zelinsky, in age 26. She paused and looked at the modest ring on her left hand. I engaged and waiting to marriage. I was hairdresser back home in Poland. I met a boyfriend when I was here doing backpack and fruit pick. Sorry, my English not so good. G'day, how are you? My name is Sandra, but I shortened it to D after I fell in love with John Sanderson in 1977. The ruddy-faced woman began enthusiastically. She chuckled. Fast forward 30-odd years and we have 5 grown-up daughters. My husband and I sold the family butcher business over in Ashby. You might know it? Sanderson and Son. John was sad, but none of the girls wanted to be third-generation butchers. I, for one, could not be happier to hang up my apron, though he is a bit lost. I encouraged him to join the local men's shed. She finished with a little wink. That's where he is right now. A petite woman blushed shyly. Hi, I'm Melanie Brown, 33, and a single mum with 2 kids aged 5 and 7. I work morning shift in the kitchens of Belford Nursing Home. I've always loved to read. There was a pause as Nancy checked her sheet with everyone's name. Last on the list, Chris T. She felt foolish, assuming Chris was short for Christine. Oh, sorry everyone. Christopher Turner here. I'm a stay-at-home dad, chief cook and bottle washer. I make a mean mac and cheese. Grinning as he held up 2 crossed fingers. Me and Bluey are like that. Little Miss 4 is at preschool and the baby is enjoying some special time with his grandma. I'm looking forward to conversation beyond 1-syllable words. Nancy looked around the room. One lady old enough to be her mother and others who might say the same about her. Then there was Chris. He was a surprise. Jock had been fond of the saying, variety is the spice of life. That's certainly what this diverse group had. Inwardly she smiled with anticipation. A new chapter in her life, new friends, 1 book at a time. The end.